drama to comedy. You won't think about going to the movies because everything needed is right at home. If there was ever a time when having something new to watch and enjoy became a priority, this is it. Welcome back to FilmShack. Today, we prepared for you the 10 best original Netflix movies worth watching in 2020. Number 10. All Day and a Night.
My father taught me how to take your life out on everybody else.
It's dog-eat man out there.
Netflix movie All Day and a Night arrives with significant pedigree. The drama about life in the gang-ridden neighborhoods of Oakland is the first major motion picture from Joe Robert Cole, whose screenplay credits include Black Panther and The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story. His star is Ashton Sanders of Moonlight, supported by underrated powerhouse character Jeffrey Wright, which leaves us asking, does the movie live up to the potential of its talent? All Day and a Night is firmly in the tradition of Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, but it doesn't take the hood struggle drama to new territory like Blindspotting or Fruitvale Station did. All Day and a Night is a flawed drama that doesn't quite live up to its promise, but Cole's ambition and skill renders it worthwhile viewing. Number 9. A Secret Love.
All these years they've been together and they've hid this secret from us.
This documentary from Netflix is a real heart-soother, directed with tremendous sensitivity and intimacy by Chris Bolan. It's a love story about two women now in their 90s, Terry Donahue and Pat Henschel, who have been together since the 1940s. For decades, they kept up the pretense of being just good friends to their families before finally coming out a few years ago. Talking to outsiders, they still describe each other as cousins. The legacy of shame and fear among older people in the gay community is explored in the film, but the overwhelming mood here is love. A Secret Love is directed by Terry's great-nephew, who prods and picks at the family's dynamics, revealing complexities that are universal. Pat has a bit of a spiky relationship with Terry's niece, Diana, who wants the couple to move into a care home. Terry has Parkinson's and is becoming frail. Pat is stubbornly refusing to bulge, but it's Terry who's resisted getting married. Will that change as they live more publicly as a couple? It would be a spoiler to say more, but it's incredibly moving. Number 8. The Half of It.
Too smart to be crying on a platform like a wussy.
I'm not crying.
Wussy.
It's been nearly 15 years since Alice Wu's feature debut Saving Face hit select theaters. Now she's back with a new Netflix feature, The Half of It. And it proves the industry lucky to have her back as a filmmaker who's willing to make bold choices with a familiar genre format to effectively reinforce that there's no one right way to love. There's a lot to love about The Half of It, particularly when it comes to rising talent. The biggest revelation of the bunch is Lewis. Even though Ellie keeps to herself and struggles with an unfortunate amount of bullying, she's still got a magnetizing confidence to her. She knows which lane she's in and chooses to diligently stay in it, running the course that she's envisioned for herself with no deviations. Another quality that helps The Half of It stick the landing is the great time and care Wu puts into ensuring that every single frame of this movie has value. There are a number of in-the-moment revelations that play quite well, but one of the most rewarding qualities of The Half of It is when we get to watch Ellie see the value in something she expressly dismissed earlier on in the film. The Half of It isn't a straightforward romantic comedy with an easy, will they or won't they be together kind of ending. It's a character study, and also a dissection of relationships as well. Number 7. Tiger Tail.
听说你要去美国，是真的。我有一个女儿叫珍珍。
TV prodigy Alan Yang hops mediums with his directional film debut, Tiger Tail, now on Netflix. Yang's BoobTube credits include writing and directing for Parks and Recreation and The Good Place, and co-creating Master of None with Aziz Ansari, which earned him an Emmy win for original writing. An impressive resume for sure, and now we get to find out if he can make a successful transition to movies. Yang effectively captures several key components that render the film such an evocative drama. The textural authenticity of 60s rural Taiwan and scuzzy 70s New York. The deep, deep ache of a man battling regret in his later years. The serenity of his relationships with his mother and lover in Taiwan. If the filmmaker intended to convey an immigrant's struggles with acclamation and disenchantment, it seems secondary, forced to the margins. This story is personal, not political. its intimacy likely rooted, loosely or otherwise, in Yang's experience as the son of Taiwanese immigrants. Tiger Tail is a mindful, emotionally charitable, sometimes outright brilliant drama, showcasing Yang's potential in the world of film, and you should watch it. Number 6. Horse Girl.
Do you believe in alien abductions? People always said that my grandma was so crazy.
It's a testament to Alice Brie's performance as Sarah, a mousy, socially awkward 30-something, huge eyes seemingly on the verge of welling with tears at all times, voice pitched up in uncertainty, that it's clear from the first minutes of Horse Girl, something is off. Sarah leads a quiet, tentative life. A job at a craft store, pop-ins to offer unsolicited advice to young riders at a barn housing her beloved horse Willow, nights on the couch obsessively watching her favorite sci-fi TV series, Purgatory, but in the routine skirts around a yawning darkness. Minutes into the film, her roommate's boyfriend finds her sleepwalking in the kitchen, blank staring at the wall. Horse Girl, directed by Jeff Baena and co-written by Brie, observes and then careens into Sarah's loosening grip with reality. The story begins in a familiar enough territory. Sarah struggles to connect with either her Zumba classmates or her self-absorbed roommate, Nikki, Debbie Ryan, who throws her an impromptu birthday party, meant to comically observe people's attempts to seem cool. Her supervisor at work, Joan, Molly Shannon, seemingly her only confidant, gifts her a home DNA kit, triggering an obsession with her late grandmother, with whom she shares an uncanny resemblance, and the family stories of her insanity. A fate Sarah clearly fears she's destined for. A story that will make you start thinking about things. It's also one that will have you rattled from not being able to figure things out. Number 5. Uncorked.
But I just want to find my own thing.
Hints of new oak.
Medium minus acidity.
This wine is from a cool climate.
This wine is old world. This wine is from France.
This wine is a Chardonnay.
This wine is Olivier Lefebvre Cité Chardonnay.
Uncorked on Netflix is a comedy drama about a young man who dreams of becoming a master sommelier, a profession that his dad, an old-school cook running a barbecue joint in Memphis, Tennessee, thinks has something to do with pirates. Written and directed by Insecure producer Prentice Penny. In his full-length feature debut, Uncorked is a heartfelt, funny story about family, ambition, individuality, and legacy. In modern-day Memphis, Tennessee, Elijah, Mamoudou Athi, is a 20-something young man working 2 jobs. The first is at a wine and liquor store, where he recommends Chardonnay to cute girls by comparing the bottles to Jay-Z. Smooth, versatile, pairs with everything. The second is working shifts at the barbecue restaurant owned by his father, Louis, Courtney B. Vance, a job his father expects to become permanent someday soon when Elijah takes over the family business. Vance and Nash are a freaking delight in this movie, and any moment that either of them is on the screen is a moment very much enjoyed indeed. Thankfully, that's a decent amount of moments. At its core, Uncorked is about Elijah's fraught relationship with his dad. Athi, who has previously been in Netflix projects like The Get Down and Unicorn Store, works well with Vance, and the two share several touching scenes together that will have you reaching for your tissues as you sip on fine wine. It's also just a pleasure to see a classic trope, a son who doesn't want to follow his father's path for him, applied to a modern-day, non-white family. I'm no sommelier, but if I were asked to pair a wine with Uncorked, I'd go with Chardonnay. Smooth, refreshing, and most likely to be enjoyed by all who try it. Truly the Jay-Z of wines. Number 4. Dangerous Lies.
We're broke.
I'll find something.
We made it this far, right?
With Netflix's Dangerous Lies, we get to find out if Riverdale star Camila Mendes is worthy of being the only person on the one sheet. She anchors this thriller in which her character, and by extension the audience, isn't sure she can trust anyone, possibly including the screenwriter. So maybe this is an opportunity for Mendes to rise above the movie's limitations. Dangerous Lies is the kind of aggravating movie where you want to yell instructions at the characters, e.g., call the cops or get a divorce, because they act like twits and ding-dongs just doing one stupid thing after another stupid thing. This movie will hold your attention and leave you wanting more. Number 3. Lost Girls.
Shannon Maria Gilbert. There's one here for every day that she's missing.
Netflix's Lost Girls is a gripping true crime drama based on the real-life story of a New York mother searching for her missing daughter. Lost Girls has been appearing in the streaming service's newly implemented top 10 lists regularly. Lost Girls was directed by Liz Garbus and stars Amy Ryan as the tenacious mother, Thomas and Gilbert as a surviving daughter, and Gabriel Byrne and Dean Winter as police investigators on the case. Often grim and dark, the Lost Girls movie on Netflix is inspired by the book Lost Girls, an unsolved American murder, by investigative journalist Robert Kolker. The book took a deep look at the victims of a notorious serial killer on Long Island, known as the Gilgo Beach Killer. The murderer is suspected of killing up to 16 people over the course of 20 years. Like so many other serial killers, this one also preyed on sex workers. The bodies of sex workers, who used Craigslist to find their clients, were discovered on Oak Beach, which is located in Suffolk County on the south shore of Long Island. This movie will surely keep you on the edge. Number 2. Circus of Books.
In the 80s, if you could sell adult material, you could make a lot of money.
The new Netflix documentary Circus of Books shows how director Rachel Mason was part of a typical American family. Mom, dad, 3 kids, and a gay porn store. She profiles her parents and the business they own. A business that was chock full of a gourmet selection of stuff for every pervert, as one friend and patron put it. For 30 years, Circus of Books was a countercultural staple of Boys Town in West Hollywood, a place where a fella could buy magazines, videos, and paraphernalia from the last people you might expect to be selling such things. Now tell me you don't want to see a movie about those people. Circus of Books isn't just a highly amusing portrait of normies working within a counterculture. Circus of Books is funny and full of heart, and an absolute gem, and really worth watching. Number 1. Extraction. Tyler Rake drinks and he kills people. Scratch that. Tyler Rake drinks and he pops Oxycontin and he kills people. There's some kind of PTSD death wish stew bubbling inside his skull, and he lives in a shack in Australia, which despite the state of his mental health, amazingly isn't cluttered with empty Chinese takeout containers and liquor bottles, unlike the depressing hovels the Punisher and various Liam Neeson characters live in. He ain't got nothing to lose, which makes Tyler's job of arming himself and running headlong into sticky situations that much easier. He can kill you with a coffee mug. He will put a rake in your face. Not like Sideshow Bob, but the pointy end first. He will grab your balls and pull. Extraction goes for maximum direction, minimal story, just more than minimal character. It's plenty. Compare it to a Michael Bay picture, which is maximum everything until you just want it to die. It presents a couple pretty compelling questions early on. How many times can one man get hit by a car and still walk, run, punch, kick, shoot, stab, and snap spines? And why are the bad guys' sights always off in these movies? We live in a post-John Wick and MI Fallout world, so the bar has been set high. Extraction deserves to be mentioned in the same breath. We would like to invite you to share your opinion with us. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications bell. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!